All right. So today we are going to talk about web forms. Is it okay if we hold the questions until the end, or did anybody come in hot with a question that they were ready to um, throw at me? Go for it, Carol. You're muted though.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted our donate page, what it links to is very old and outdated. And I've been looking at other websites in the state um, to see what they used. And uh, I think one time you talked to me about, and I was just looking through my notes that I saved from you, and that how to copy a page from another website to your website.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to spend time on it. If it's too lengthy, I'll just look for my notes. I'll search a little bit more or
No, yeah, let's talk about it. So, me as an admin, I do have the ability to clone a page. That's probably the easiest way. The other way would be highlighting everything and copying what you can, but that doesn't always translate everything. A copy and paste that includes pictures or say has web form fields that would require cloning. So yeah, usually you can just send me an email, you share the link of the page that you like, and then as long as I know which league you're with, then I can clone it to your site, and then it would have to be your responsibility to update it since it will have all the content from the original league.
okay, so it's not something I could do. I was sort of remembering it was something I could do, but maybe you had just done it and that's, yeah. So it's something you need to do.
Yeah, if it's coming from another league. If it's from your own league, then you can, clone your own content.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, you just send
Okay,
me an
well,
email with those details and I can help you
oh,
out.
okay, that sounds good. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. All right. So, um like I said, with web forms, we'll be talking about that today. Here's a simple example of one that I think I copied from another league. Um, and is kind of the basic contact us form. You can make web forms as complex and complicated as you need them to be, or just as simple and straightforward as kind of what you see here. So we have four fields in this web form: name, email. We have an ability to select who we want the message to go to, and then the message itself. So I wanted to kind of to recreate essentially this contact us web form on this here contact us page. Okay, so when it comes to the web form, we have a specific tab for it. This web form button defaults to the form components. So right now our web form is empty. We have no components at all. Um, We are going to recreate, like I said, what we had on the other form. So I'm literally just going to copy those same labels. That's what the question field is, or the part that you are asking of the form filler. So that's called the label. The most used type of form component is going to be the text field. And that's what we'll use for this one. We can make it required, and then we have to proceed to add. The form key gets filled in automatically. Um, I'll explain a little bit more about form keys a little bit later when we get to a field that has options. Sorry, let me let a couple more folks in here. All right. Okay.
Did
So,
you
yes.
say what to do for we're going to ask you for new component? what you put in that field?
Oh yeah, let me go back.
Okay, thank you. I missed a clog.
Yeah, no problem. And good because then for the folks that just joined us, we're barely just getting into the web form part of building it up. So we're looking at the form components. Where it says new component name is what you'll want to put, like what you're asking them for. So your name, your email, whatever it is that you are looking for them to fill in here, then that's what we put. And you can leave it with no colon. It's on a separate line of the as the text field, so you know, they'll know what it's referring to. And then the requiring, you can do it here or on the next page after we click add. All right. And then the description is kind of the first place where you might want to make changes or add something. Obviously, with a question like your name, a description is probably not necessary. But let's just add it so that we have something to view as where the description would come up. So under validation, this is where you can choose required if you didn't choose it before. I'm going to skip the parts that we aren't using right now, but the good thing is that they all have a pretty good explanation underneath. So if there were any questions, usually that can resolve them. The placeholder, that's one that I did have on the sample web form. So whatever you put here in the placeholder will show up before they start typing and it's grayed out. So it, hopefully won't be confusing for folks thinking, oh, there's already an entry there. And then this is what I was talking about, the label display, that question of your name. That label gets displayed above the text field. And that's the way I would recommend, unless you didn't want it to be shown at all. You have the option to have the description show above the field. So if it shows above the field, it would show right under the label. So the label being the question would say your name, and then my description, if I check this box, would say look here, and then an ability to enter into that text field. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just save that one so far. And most form components or fields that you're adding are going to be pretty easy like that. Most of them are going to be a couple of different settings that you're putting in, and then you can go straight to save. So next, we're going to do your email address. This one actually has a specific type of form component or field type, and that's email. And I would always recommend anytime that you're trying to collect an email on a web form, always use the email type. And that is because it gives you the ability to use the emails tab here. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So again, I make that one required. And then the default value here, you you always have the option to provide a default value, but I typically recommend it for emails because you have this checkbox here to make the user email the default. So if they're logged in, then you will see that person's email filled, or they themselves will see their email filled in because the MyLO system recognizes them. And then again, another option for a description. And I'm going to go through again to the bottom. So that is another one that is pretty simple if you're not trying to change, the display or allow them to add more than one email address. It's a pretty straight shot. Okay. Now, who would you like to message? This is one that gets a little bit more, there's a couple more steps involved with this. So this time, because I'm asking a question that will have, you know, multiple options, select options will be that field type or form component type. And again, I make it required since it's one of the main reasons that they're sending us a message. All right, so again, I'm going to skip past those two and we'll go to options since this is the required piece. Obviously, it being select options, you have to provide what the options are. So for options, there's two parts for each option. So it says down here, key value pairs must be specified as safe key, and then it's separated by a vertical bar, and then it follows some readable option. So the key value means that the key is the safe key on the left. That's what the MyLO system will read and recognize as a representative of what is the some readable option. So I'm going to keep it simple and start with the safe key on the left with just numbers. So um, entering my vertical bar to separate, and let me just add some options that would be visible to the person filling out the form. And sorry, I'm kind of going quickly through this just so that I can, further explain what we've got here. Okay, so this is the pair that you need for every single option. Again, the safe key is on the left, and what's on the right is what's visible to the person on the live form. So, I don't know, I was going to add another word here, but I just wanted to show like whatever you add on the right side of that vertical bar is what's going to show up for the person when they're looking at the live form. And that safe key on the left-hand side, you may not ever need to use it as far as like further than this. This may be as far as that safe key ever needs to go for you. It is a required part for these options. If you just add your list in without the safe key like this, you'll get an error. And so again, about that safe key, the reason or one of the reasons it's required is because there are things called tokens. You'll see that link is kind of everywhere. Browse available tokens, browse available tokens. I have put these tokens in a Google Sheet so that they're um, easier to peruse because this link kind of sometimes takes a long time to load. But the tokens are important here because what you can do is customize your emails or even your confirmation page. If there were one specific piece of your data that you wanted to pull out, like for example, if you wanted to say, thank you for sending your message to, and then have that next part change depending on what the form or the person filling out the form has provided, then you could say, um, it would be a little long, but you would start out with the token submission values. The next would be, and I'm not putting it specifically as the example that we're using, but the form key for the question or the label that we're looking at, which was who would you send your message to? And the next part would be 3, or you'd leave it open, I guess, because then this would fill in. If I filled out the form and I choose treasurer, then it would, if I use this token, it would say, thank you for sending your message to the treasurer. And then the next person selects president. This token doesn't need to change, but it will change the value for that next person because of the answer they provided. Those tokens, definitely tend to get a little bit more in the weeds. And like I said, they're not required to use, but that's one of the purposes of the safe key. And then the same thing as the form key. So they work very similarly. But that's the basics on setting up an options list. What we also see too is folks you can type it out again. You can put a shortened version, whatever works for you. You just need to have a safe key and then the value on the other side that shows up for the person or shows up on the live form. And then we can allow them to choose multiple or other. Let me pause for questions. Any questions at this point about what we've gone over so far? Okay. And then the other cool thing about select options is there are 3 options for pre-built lists. So days of the week, countries, and US states are already incorporated into here. You just have to select it and then your options would be filled in. And then the list box, I will go ahead and choose that. Because we've allowed for multiple folks, if I left this unchecked, then what we would see is something similar to this, where we have little check boxes. But when I choose list box, then we'll see it more similarly to how label display is showing up down there. But all right, okay, so I've checked list box. Let me go ahead and save that one as well. And one thing I haven't been doing is going to look at the form after I've added each component or field, but that as soon as you save one, it's going up live. So there is no draft mode when it comes to a web form. Everything that you're adding is going up and being made available right then and there. Oh, fun. There's a little bug that sometimes likes to pop up when we have select options here. So we can talk about how to go over that. I think we do have documentation on it as well. But let me add just the last question, again, just for the other folks that maybe weren't here at the very beginning. This is the general idea of what I'm recreating with the other one. And we have those there. Okay. So coming on back, again, let me add the field for a message and then we can go ahead on. All right, and then for your message, text area is just more of a paragraph shape so that folks can add their longer message. And then same idea, they have text area is almost identical to text field when it comes to the options, the settings that you have back here. But I will just be moving down beyond all that. Okay, so now we have all of our components. Next, we will be talking about that bug, but I wanted to show you how this comes up for folks. Whoops. So because I've allowed for multiple to be selected, this is what it'll look like for folks. And obviously, when it comes to who would you like to message, if they are allowed to say other, that's not recommended because there isn't a way to send a message to other. So before we get into the emails part where, we connect an email to each one of these options, let me go over how to fix this. So let me see if I can find our documentation. And if anybody has questions, feel free to jump in.
Yeah. If the form goes live, how can you get rid of it?
Yeah. So if you are,
Because
obviously,
I
if you're,
just I just put one out there. Incomplete, just plain.
Gotcha.
So,
I would suggest, if you can, unpublishing it because then you don't have to go through and delete the form components. So those are the two options. If it is a live page that must remain live, you would unfortunately have to go through and delete every single field. The other option is to turn off the form, which some folks are not a fan of. Let me see where that is. Okay. Status of form, you can close it, but I want to show you what it looks like for visitors. So this warning at the top here, submissions for this form are closed, will always show up. They can close it, but that's what it would look like. So that is the big or the I guess the most straightforward option if you're trying to close it but have it available for you to, bring back when needed. Did that answer your question, Helen?
kind of, how do I edit that form? How do I get back to it?
Go,
Not under manage content.
yes, under manage
Oh,
content,
okay.
but make sure that your search filters aren't filtering it out, maybe if you're not seeing it in the list.
I don't have any search filters.
You could also narrow it down to if you know it was specifically a web form, then you can narrow it down to that.
Okay.
Okay. Mm,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. And we can always stick around after too if you needed some more one-on-one.
So that's how I can edit it, but I can't unpublish it.
You'd have to unpublish the entire page or web form.
Okay, but that's just going to take the, okay, I'll play with it.
Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and open it back up so that we see it again. And sorry, let me try and find the documentation. So there's a couple of places where it's at. We have,
Wh-
um,
Where did you click on to open and close it? Which of the
oh
bars?
yeah.
Form
So I went
settings.
under form
Okay.
settings.
Okay. I just didn't see what you were so fast. Okay. Form settings.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
So the tip is going to be, I think here. No, sorry. It's under our learning about forms, form components. I just have to find select options. All right. So we're going to recreate our label by copying this here. So the instructions are basically saying for us to turn off the label for the one that's acting up. So we go over to form components, find that specific form component, which was who would you like your message to go to? And then we scroll down, label display, and that's where we choose none. So we're turning it off completely so that we can add it in ourselves. So this, well, first let me start with the type. So the type we're going to use is a markup. The markup means that it's allowing us to add our own formatted text.
Okay, so just to be clear now, so this is to getting rid of that duplicate, um, who do you want to contact or who did you want to message, right?
Yes, and let me show you before I proceed. So this is what it looks like when it's turned off. We obviously need to have a label there, so that markup is what we'll add to then be the new label for that question. So again, markup is the type, and then the title or the new component name, because it's markup, will not be visible to, it'll only be visible to webmasters. So you can just give this an administrative title. Question for options. Whoops. And it doesn't need to be required because again, it's just going to be, what is it called? Formatted text. So what I copied from the documentation is actually an HTML. So I need to switch this to HTML and we paste that in. And we obviously need to change component label. So what was it? Who would you like to message? And then if your question is not required, we just have to remove this portion. But I think mine is required. So I'll leave that in. And then display on, I typically leave it as is, form only, but you can choose to have it show up on the submission as well. The submission, the viewed submission would be the email, but it usually doesn't provide context there. So form only, and we save component. And then the last step before we go check it out is we need to rearrange it. So use the grabby handles to move it up above the select options field. And then we save at the bottom. So now let's check it out. And there we are. So now we have the question above. Now let's go ahead and add some emails for these folks that we have listed. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's go back over to web form and then hop over to emails. So the first step is either you specify specific address or specific addresses, or you can choose a component value. So this is where we see email types and select options types. Whenever you have form components that are of those types, you'll see them as possible options here. So first, we're going to set up the email to who they're trying to message. So we choose the component, who would you like to message as our address essentially, or our subject there. That option provides us with a grid of email fields. So one field for each option that we provided. You can have multiple emails, just separate them by a comma. Just make sure that every single field has at least one email. Because if you leave any of them empty and someone selects message the treasurer, that message will not get to anybody. It will, though, get recorded in the results of this web form. Okay. And then email header details. The subject comes in from the page name, and it always starts form submission from and followed by the page name. You can customize it or choose a component, a relevant component. And then same thing for the email from address. You can customize or you can choose a specific component. The default option is our MyLO address. So if messages come back to us, we're usually forwarding them back on or responding, letting you know that they were probably intended elsewhere. And then the email template is fairly simple. So we talked about tokens for a little bit earlier. Here they are again. The first line is going to be the date and time that the submission was recorded. If the person was logged in, then their username would show up here for this token. And then every single value of their entire submission, whether they answered something or did not, is going to be there. So it will be the the question or the label, and then the value of their response, whether they responded or not. And then at the very bottom is it would be a link back to view this submission on the results tab. So if you well, we'll go through submitting the form, and then I should be able to show an example of that. Let me make sure. Oops. Okay. So we'll save email settings. Any questions so far? Okay. All right, so now it's time to test out the form. I'm going to send that to treasurer. All right. And then we submit. And this is the standard confirmation page. That's the next part we'll get to. Whoops. It looks like my email is not trying to open up, so it'll take just a second. Sorry, folks. Two-factor authorization is what always takes a bit of extra time. But I just want to show you what the example looks like. Okay, that might just have to wait. But essentially, it's how we talked about the tokens will represent, everything that you've provided on the form that matches that. I unfortunately am not receiving my 2FA code, so I'm not able to sign into my email. But let's go ahead to the confirmation page section now. So we've gotten our form all set up, but maybe on the confirmation page, you want to provide a little more context other than, thank you, your submission has been received. To make changes to the confirmation page, it's through form settings. All right, so this is the confirmation message section. When this section is empty, then we see what we saw, a second ago. Before we get into this too much, let me show a trick that I like to do. When I'm making edits to a confirmation page, I like to be able to go back and forth between looking at it and making my edits, probably how most of you like to do as well. And my trick to get to the confirmation page without having to submit every single time, I tack onto the end of my page /done, D-O-N-E. And that works on any web form or any page that has a web form enabled. So I'll keep this open in another tab. Now I'll come back over so that we can add, whatever custom stuff we want to here. I don't know, just a little something to add there. And I'm just adding any random old link. Formatting will definitely be recommended. But yeah, everything that you add here is going to replace the top sentence here. I can't highlight the whole thing, but that entire sentence, what will stay is this link, go back to the form. So that's always going to remain for a way for them to quickly get back. So I'm going to just leave it simple like that. Yeah. And then down here, the redirection location, by default, it's already going to what is your confirmation page, what follows currently. The custom URL section, you can specify a page, another page on MyLO or a page that's outside of MyLO. If you have no redirect, then they are just getting the form again. I think if they're logged in, they'll get a message, kind of like a green success message that would say you've submitted, you've made a submission to this form previously. But if they're not logged in, then choosing no redirect will not give them any prompt that their submission was accepted. You can limit the total number of submissions, or you can limit it per user. And then this is where we closed the form earlier. And then the submission access, by default, these two options allow everybody. So a local league webmaster is also a member, and then general public catches everybody else. Progress bar is just how it sounds, depending on the number of pages that you add. There's an ability to add page breaks in the form components. So if you do have a web form that's multiple pages, having a progress bar is probably a good idea. And then you can pretty much customize the labels for that progress bar. And then a preview page allows the person to see their responses before submitting. And then under the advanced settings, we have a save draft button if you want to allow users to come back. And it is only for folks who have a login. This here. Okay, so it does by default show the notification about previous submissions. Again, I think it is for logged in users, but it may also work for folks that are not logged in. I haven't actually tested that myself. And then the submit button label, by default, it's submit, or you can say whatever else you want to. And the next submission number, it's always tracking every single submission. Even if you go through the results page and you delete some, the next number is going to still recognize those deletions. So if you were trying to clean up a forms tracking, this would be the place to do it. But I'll leave it how it was. Let's go ahead and save what I have there so far. Let's take a look and actually submit the form again, since I changed the confirmation page. All right, send your message. And now we see thank you. Please subscribe to our newsletter. Any questions so far? Okay. Now let's check out the results. Okay. So with the results tab open, we have a couple of additional tabs. When we click on results, by default, we're taken to the submissions tab, which we see them listed here. The analysis tab, I believe, allows you to compare them. This is not helpful, when we're just talking about a contact us form. The table allows you to see them all together so that you don't have to go through each individual submission. You can download, I believe it's a CSV, yeah, or an Excel sheet of the data in the form. And then you can clear the results tab completely. And so if you do choose to clear the results tab, we were talking about the numbering system before. If you do clear the results, the next number would still be number 3. But let's check out what they look like specifically. If we look at them, each submission directly, this is what it's going to look like on the website. And then if you wanted to make those emails go out again, you can click to resend. And this would, in this case, send an email to who we specified for the treasurer. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it for the results. Any questions or anything specific you'd like to see? I know we haven't gotten into conditionals, but I might save that unless anybody had some curiosity about conditionals. Okay. Since there aren't any questions, I'll dip into conditionals a bit. It's as the name says that, it allows you to add a condition for whichever fields or form components you specify. So for this web form, I'm going to make it so that, I don't know, your message, we'll make it so that your message doesn't show up until they make a selection here. Not really a realistic example, but at least you'll know, the basic steps. So the first step, or we hit the plus sign, and then we get the basic bones of an if and then. So the if was, if who would you like to send, or who would you like to message is, well, actually, there we go. Okay. So as long as who would you like to message is not empty, so as long as it's filled in, then your message is shown. Okay, so if the field is filled in, then your message will be revealed, the label of your message or the form component of your message. And we can tack on as many more, let's say not only do we want your message to be hidden until they select who they want to message, what about your email address as well? Again, not a great realistic example. But if we save that and we go check out our form, initially the form is a lot shorter. So we fill out the parts. As soon as we put a selection there, then your email address and your message are shown. And the moment we take it out, those fields go away because of that conditional we set up. And that's one of the parts that can really make your web form super complex if you have a lot of conditionals going on. And it won't slow down your web form. It won't affect the submissions or anything like that. As long as you keep questions required, even if they have conditionals, that will help, if folks are accidentally missing some fields because of those conditionals you have set up, as long as it's required, they'll still be filling out those fields that show up on a condition. And the other thing too, with conditionals, there's a lot of different options to choose from. So I went with the is not empty, but you can say is to specify if they choose president. If they choose treasurer, then you want this other, form component to show up. And then when it comes to then, or the then options, you have shown, required, or set to. So again, you can make it so that if they choose president for who they would like to message, you can say your messages, or yeah, again, it's not great realistic examples, but you can specify maybe what the message should be begin with. You can make it so that it's required, or again, shown like we were doing in the example. Any questions? Okay. So I think that is kind of try to keep it as basic as possible, but that is a bit of an overview of web forms. Were there any specific web forms that maybe y'all wanted to see that aren't included in this example? Okay. Well,
I'm wondering
yeah.
if there are, if we can see examples of what other leagues have done. Is that, I don't know,
Yes. Yeah.
how does
Let's
that
definitely do
work?
that. I always forget that part. That's probably the funnest part. If there are any that y'all know of, let me know because this is probably where I need to improve myself to better remember the leagues that do have really awesome forms. I'm kind of guessing here. I think that this league does. They do have a contact us form. Oh, no, they don't. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking this league might. No, it doesn't look like they have one either.
So we have one, but
Yeah.
it's pretty much just the one that you showed. It's the
Oh,
basic
okay, a basic contact us form.
basic one. Yes.
Well, we might as well show it off.
A basic will work as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Same
Yeah,
idea
that's
with
good.
the ability to select more than one. Awesome.
I do need to change that since I'm no longer president. So I do
Ah,
see I need so that this will give me some practice
there
in
you
doing.
go. Yeah. Yeah. So, and remember, it's a two-parter thing for select options. You have to go into your form components and change the option, and then
Can
go into
you
emails and update the email.
can you show that?
Let me go ahead and switch here. Deborah, I can make the change for you. What do you want it to say?
So it should say star. My name should be removed as president,
And
and it
sorry,
should
what's your username?
ah um
Oh, there
it,
we go.
oh I know, yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Okay. So we go to web form and then we want to edit, send my message to. So that should be,
So still remain the same. Just my name needs to be replaced
whoops.
with star STARR Wildarsky uh, LODARSKI, and there's no I after W.
Okay,
Just W. Yep, there you go.
perfect. Okay. So I'm just gonna, that's the only change we needed there, and we save. And then now we need to update the email that goes with it. So emails tab, and then edit for value of send my message to. And then do you have her email
I don't
address?
I don't have her
Okay, no worries.
right now.
Yeah, once you have that, you'll know, where to come to. And
Mhm.
then once you make that change, you go to the very, very bottom and save email settings.
Okay. And then
Now,
you said with it, we can put two
Hmm.
emails because because since that's coming to the website, um,
Hmm.
I would like to add after her president star and then have that go to
Or, oh,
her.
I see. Yes, 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 yes.
And
Hmm.
also add one for our League of Women Voters so that I know that we got that we got it. I can make sure that Star responds.
Got it. Yeah, if you wanted to have kind of a catch-all, what you would do is in the emails, you just add that as a separate one. So I don't remember what your email was, but if I was adding my league's email, you would add this as its own so that if they choose president or they do choose general inbox, regardless, you would always receive the messages to this address if that's what you're looking to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
But if you already
I
have a general inbox option, it sounds like that's doing double duty.
okay. Okay. Great.
Any other questions? And let me see if I can get lucky on finding another web form.
I have a few questions if you run out, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I could just go with one, but
Yeah, go for it, Mary Jo.
well, I think it'd be easier if you went to my page and then I could just show you.
Yeah.
So, oh, are you going to be able to get into members only?
Oh no, I will need
Oh, all
to
right, okay.
let me
Well, I
switch.
think you were on there.
I'm logged in as Deborah, so it shows up. But let me
Oh,
just stay as admin. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so go to what is this under? The member roster a little bit further down. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So read more. Well, whatever, yeah. Of
Okay.
course, it won't be there now. Okay, well, uh, there was a box underneath there. There was a square box with a smaller box inside with like a lightning rod.
Oh,
And I have no idea, so it's gone now. I did add worked on it today.
okay.
Okay, so
How
that's
funny.
done. Yeah. Okay, so stay on there and go up to a where the yeah oh we'll get out of that, but then at the top of the members only are some dates.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one about observer core training.
Hmm.
So, well, now okay, this is driving me nuts. Okay, so um oh, is there one for the 13th?
No.
Oh, because that's over with.
Did it pass already, like as far as
Yeah,
the
oh
time?
darn it. Because what it was doing was next to the here are Zoom details, and that won't go into the old calendar, will it? Like other calendar items.
No. Let me see. I don't think that
I
there's
don't
a
think so.
past events for the
I don't know
members
though.
only.
I don't
No,
know. I
there's
don't.
not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Anyway, so it said here are Zoom details,
Hmm.
and I put in the link, and then there's like a I don't know what it is, but there's a little box, and I don't know what it is. But then it has in brackets BR.
Okay. Uh,
No, do you have any idea what that means?
yeah, the carrots BR, that is going to be some not broken HTML, but it obviously shouldn't be showing on the
Okay.
WYSIWYG side. So you can either delete it from the WYSIWYG side or That's what I would recommend really, because deleting it from the HTML side might not be so straightforward.
So how would I have got, so obviously it was,
Maybe by pasting something in
I don't,
that it appeared. It usually doesn't appear on its own of like if you hit enter or something, that usually shouldn't turn into, this is called a line break.
oh,
Um,
oh, all
but
right.
yeah, I'm not sure why it would have shown up, but you can just, backspace it, delete it on the WYSIWYG side.
Now, when you say WYSIWYG, you mean this is, yeah, I have to change it to,
No, no need to change it.
oh,
It's the default,
oh.
the
Well,
the
I did keep, backspacing to try and delete it. Nothing happened.
hmm.
No, I don't know. I've got other ones, but I'll wait till next week. There's nothing big deal.
If you ever have trouble deleting something, if it's not backspacing, also try highlighting the whole thing and then using the delete button. So like
And
from the
just
open
start
bracket to
over.
the close bracket, just highlight that.
Well, I did, but yeah, who know? Can't prove it now. Anyway, but before we do go though, so somebody asked at one of our board member meetings, about a QR code for membership. Is that something we've talked about or that people have on their website? Or, I mean, does each league have a unique QR code or is it just the one that goes to national?
When it comes to QR codes on a website, it's not the like it's not the most used because most folks who are going to be visiting your website are
Just use the
already
link.
on your phone.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, QR codes are best for like printed materials.
yeah. Okay, so say that they did want to, so
So
if they
Mary
want,
Jo,
yeah,
what
yeah,
what we did for our because our membership committee, they asked me for a QR code.
okay,
So we gave them a QR code that goes to our membership page on our website
right,
rather than sending them to that generic.
okay,
We don't have it on our page just because of what you just said. They're
okay,
already here. But we
okay,
did get that and print, and then I don't know, they're printing it to put on when they're doing it, tabling
sure,
event,
sure,
stuff like
sure.
that.
And I
So
also,
how do I do that? Is that,
this is a way to do it. It's free to use. Sorry, I was trying to make the link shorter, but it's the long link.
oh,
But essentially bit.ly.com, bitly.com. It offers you a QR code generator and a short link, a URL shortener.
yeah, I know I made a QR once, but I don't know how well, I don't know. Okay, so I was gonna, okay, I'll copy the link and then,
Yeah, and all it takes is filling in that link. So
thank you. I'll see what happens. Thank you.
when you enter that code, get your QR code for free. It does require that you log in, but it is free to use. There's obviously options to pay, but it is not required to have a paid account to use it. I was going to go through it, but um, I
Well,
think I
we
have
could
a
do it
paid
next
account.
time. We could do it next time.
Well,
Oh,
actually, I think uh, my email might be a free account. So if you don't already have a login, create a login either with Google or I think this would allow you to create an account if you don't already have one. You just
okay.
fill in your email and password. And then when we click create account, oh, it is hoping
I
for me to have.
let's see here. When I create I just go into um okay, now wait a minute. I just click on the browser name
Oh,
there.
yes,
The
yes, yes.
If you just right click that, and then it comes up it pops up and one of the drop down menus says create a QR code. So I'm like,
Yes.
let's go
I
back
think
here.
that that's for Google Chrome. So before I keep going with the bit.ly, yes. So if you use Google Chrome,
I can.
there we go. Okay, so you right click anywhere on the page, and then it says create QR code for this page.
On what page? You mean as soon as you open the
Like the page that you want
Chrome?
to have them go to, you go to that page yourself
Oh, oh, of course, of
and
course.
right click anywhere on your screen. It has to be
Okay,
within the screen, but
got it. I'll try that. Thanks.
yeah.
It
Um,
also it also works in Edge.
Well,
okay,
that's what I use.
awesome.
Both. Yeah, okay.
If you
So,
do go with the bit.ly option, I think, let me see if the free account allows you to customize the QR code. Oh, can I skip? All right, so it does allow you a little bit of customization options with the
and then
bit.ly QR code generator.
and then do I can I ignorant question, can I save that as a document? How do I share that with somebody who wants to put it on something written?
Yeah, you would save it as an image and you would
Oh,
share that
oh, oh,
image.
just I can save it. Okay.
When
Thank
you
you.
save changes, it gives you that quick option to download the PNG.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Great. Thanks.
But yeah, so thank you, Deborah, for reminding me of that. So your browser, probably most browsers have that option. If you right click to see an option to create QR code, or you can create a free bit.ly account.
Okay. We'll see what works.
Any questions about that, folks?
Thank you.
Okay.
Session.
Yeah, I was hoping to try and over on my screen on the left, maybe happen upon some really awesome web forms.
Not on this one.
But I'm
Because Mary Jo would have to do it, and Mary Jo is not going to do it. Too
no,
much.
no, no, not to say anything like that. I know you do have a great form on the donate page. That's
No.
one that we
Our
could,
Jennifer did that. Yeah.
okay, is on the check. Oh no, it looks like you've updated. I
I
think it
did
was
update
the,
something.
yeah, and I might be thinking of the old membership form, but now
Oh,
we've,
yeah, yeah,
updated our entire process.
yeah.
But yeah, maybe I can take some time to find some web forms and I'll throw them in the Google group. Um, and if any of those are something that you say, you absolutely need, I can help clone them to your site for you to, make appropriate for your league. But I bet the moment we get off, I'll be like, oh, there's so many forms that I'm finding now. So I'll just take a little time for that.
Well, I just saw a mistake I got to change. I've got, because this is something I added. If the donation is in honor, well, in honor, it should be in honor of, and or in memory of. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Still makes total sense though.
Yeah, I'm sure
Not a
people will
huge one.
figure it out. Oh, golly.
Did anybody have any last questions that they wanted to go over? Alrighty. Well, you know where to reach me if anything pops up. I will be, like I said, in the Google group soon enough with some examples of forms that I come across. And then next session,
I don't think we're going to probably meet the next session.
we are not. It is going to be Thanksgiving, so we get a bit of a break. We're going to just keep our regular schedule. So that means we're going to have about a month off, unfortunately. December 11th will be the next meeting for us, but certainly reach out in the Google group, reach out to me by email. I'm always open to have one-on-one meetings if necessary. Um, so yeah, we can always schedule something if you're feeling, a need for a bit of office hours in this break.
Personalized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Well, thank
right.
you.
Yeah, no, thank you, everybody. And yes, we'll see each other in the Google group before next
Thank
time.
you. All right.